Okay, very good. And today's story is number 45. Know Thyself. Long ago in India, the scion of a wealthy family took a lovely wife. After their marriage, the newlyweds indulged in wine to add even more sensuality to the pleasures of the bed. One night, the bride went as usual to the wine jar and removed the lid. She was about to ladle up more wine when lo and behold, there inside the wine jar was a seductive young woman. Assuming her husband had been cheating on her, she began to berate him, weeping and shrieking and carrying on. The bemused husband took one look in the jar and saw the face of a lusty young man. Assuming his wife had taken a lover, he began casting loud aspersions on her chastity. In the heat of their quarrel, the jar tipped over and shattered, and that put an end to the matter. Each had been too inebriated to recognize his or her own face reflected in the wine. Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. It says it's long ago in India, so I guess there was no mirror those days. Yeah, which is it was a blessing. Without the mirror, they couldn't see how they looked so or vividly. Like we see ourselves in the mirror every day. How many times a day we check to make sure our hair looks nice and nothing is sticking to our face after breakfast? And yeah, so speaking of not knowing who we are, of course we are not our face or our body, but at the same time, even something physical we are so much in the dark about. Then when it comes to our spiritual side, who we are, even more darkness. Um, it's covering up the truth of who we are. Yeah. So, for example, here in the story, um, uh, yeah, just looking into the jar and the woman, even though she was seeing her own image, yeah, she thought the husband was cheating on her. Um, yeah, I was talking with a good friend yesterday, and she was saying how every flaw we see in other people is like a mirror to our face. Maybe it has something to do with the story. It's it's like something that's coming to our attention about ourselves. Like, why do we get triggered? If we slow the mind and think about it, what is the cause of my discomfort right now? What's happening? And then in this case, if in case we see like this seductive young woman in the jar, um, yeah, why does that make me feel so insecure? Is it because I'm jealous that maybe I'm not as beautiful as this other woman? Or maybe I have insecurity thinking that, oh, my husband might leave me and then I'll be all alone and I would be abandoned. So why do I depend on him so deeply? Why do I build my happiness upon things outside myself, which I don't have control over? And so that happiness can easily collapse and fade away. So these are all helping us know who we are as a human being. If only we can slow the mind and ask these questions and find the answers little by little, of course, by listening to the Dharma. Uh, yeah. So people who just react, like in this case, such an autopilot response, the impulse was so swift, there was no chance for self-reflection. And then she began to berate him, weeping and shrieking and carrying on. Kind of, we become hysterical when we suffer tremendously. if every day we don't do this kind of meditation, so we don't give ourselves that opportunity to slow down and not react, not fly off the handle, so to speak. Yeah. So even when we suffer with these blind passions, for example, having this doubt or suspicion is one of the six major blind passions, to assume that, oh, what if my spouse had taken a lover? So if we are listening to the Dharma, we can identify, oh, I'm suffering now from my doubts, from my suspicious heart, and let me not jump to the conclusion. And then we can maintain peace and get to know who we are. That was the title of today's story. Once we know who we are, there is nothing that can bring us down. Yeah, because as we know our follies and shortcomings, we will also know the solution for them. Yeah, thanks to the healing power of the Dharma. And in this way, knowing ourselves translates into more and more joyfulness in life. So, good job, everyone, for being here, practicing together. Today is Saturday. We're going to have the Happiness Lab at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And have a wonderful start of your weekend. Bye.